Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 84, The Sage's Teachings at Kurukshetra, Text 63. Previously, dear brother, we did nothing to benefit you because we were unable to. Yet even now that you are present before us, our eyes are so blinded by the intoxication of material good fortune that we continue to ignore you. Please repeat. Previously, dear brother, we did nothing to benefit you because we were unable to. Yet even now that you are present before us, our eyes are so blinded by the intoxication of material good fortune that we continue to ignore you. And a short purport by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. While living under the tyranny of Kamsa, Vasudeva was unable to do anything to help Nanda and his subjects defend themselves against the many demons sent from Mathura to kill Krishna and Balaram. Nama Om Shivara Krishna today. Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vicharini Nirvishesha Shrinavari Paschachari Shatarini. Hare Krishna. So there's a talk going on between Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj. You can say that they're equals, they're friends. They did share some pastime together. They both function as father of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, they are. They're fathers. Father's Day is coming up, by the way. And what makes me think of something to do with that, I was in a school in Brampton, high school. I was doing a Krishna conscious presentation, Bhakti Yoga, Hindu, Vedic culture. And the kids were very animated, so I thought I could play along with them a little bit. So one of the students asked, "What does your name mean?" Because I wrote it on the board. It means path of devotion. And then they asked a few more questions. And then one girl sort of half, sarcastic says, "So your name means the path less tread," or something. I said, "Well, okay. How did you get your name?" I said, "Well, you get initiated after a while. After you follow the disciplines, you get initiated." And then one boy puts up his hand and said, "Can I get a name too?" And so, "Okay, well, what's your current name?" I'd be like John, and I'd give him the name Janardan. And what does that mean? And it means one who sustains the world. Wow. And then everyone put their hands up. They all wanted names, so we gave everyone a name. And then we went to the teacher. And then, so I asked her her name. I knew Mrs. Such and Such, but I didn't know her first name. So she gave the name, and I gave her the name Yashoda. And then the student asked, "What does that mean?" "It means the mother of God." And everyone went, just had a good laugh at that. Yeah, so mother, father of God. How is that possible? If you come from a Judeo-Christian strain or Islamic, if you're influenced by, the three religions of the Middle East, or Hindu background or this, somebody might ask the question, how is it possible that God can have parents? Because God is the parent for everyone. It's very clear. Krishna is the creator. From the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes it very clear that he's the origin of all that is. He's the origin of the material and spiritual worlds. You've all heard the verse before. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. I'm the source of all the material and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. So it makes it very clear that everything is coming from Krishna. Therefore, he's qualified as being the creator of everything. And so how is it possible that the creator can have a creator? Well, it is possible. And Krishna selects his great devotees and he puts them in the position of being a parent or a mom or a dad like that. And this is called Vatsalya, Rasa, relationship on that level. So the two fathers are getting together, they're complementing each other, and it is Vasudeva that's speaking right now. He's saying, I was not able to serve you properly. I was inadequate. And this is usually the attitude of the devotees, to say what I'm able to do is not adequate, and I feel deficient, and I'm not able to deliver the goods. And the goods are service. It was not in my power, and of course in Vasudeva, he was in prison for a long time. He was in the social distance program. He couldn't do anything. It was not possible physically for him to do. But what he did do, this is very significant. Vasudeva did many things through meditation. He even bred Krishna through his thoughts. He was thinking of Vishnu. He was thinking of Vishnu. And his thoughts were transferred through the ether from his mind into the mind of his wife, Devaki. And this was the Immaculate Conception. It was a meditative one. It wasn't a physical contact as we know it. So that Vasudeva was able to do. And he also meditated while in the cell, while in the prison. He was thinking about giving in charity to the Brahmins, cows, bulls, etc., etc. And this is one thing that resourceful people did. They would give in charity to the Brahmins. And since we're now talking about a big event that was coming to a little bit of a closure, some Brahmins stuck around a little bit, and then some of these, incredible people, Nanda and Vasudeva, they are having a few last words together and expressing how what I'm doing is not enough for you. And these are deep devotional sentiments. Actually, you can't go deeper. I want to serve you, Prabhu. I want to serve you really well. I want it to be done to the point where you can be happy, you're satisfied. The Vaishnava culture is such that when someone comes to your home, you treat them. Even if you don't know them, they're a perfect stranger. You serve them some prasadam at least. And in the case of like a holy person, you bring him in, you lay down a mat for him, and if you're poor, if it's not lunchtime or supper time or dinner or breakfast, and the waffles aren't ready, so to speak, then you offer a glass of water. And then with some other water, you might wash the feet of such a Brahmin. Somebody who's been walking is tired and their feet are dried up, so you give them water. It's very relaxing. Internal relaxation and external relaxation. If you're in a hot climate and you've been walking, and usually sadhus don't walk so much in the rainy season. They don't, they kind of like stay put there grounded. But in the hot season, you walk. And so there's a tendency to get a little bit dehydrated. So your host is there to take care of the dehydration, or let's say hydrating program rather. So this is what they've done. And here's another thing about Vedic culture. The mentality is someone comes to your door, it's God. He or she, they're God. You're Bhagavan. Bhagavan has come to you. So then you do the best you can. You may not have a red carpet, but pretty much you just take care of that person. You make that person feel good. I remember doing Sankirtan up in, I think it was in Hamilton or St. Catharines some years ago. And it was in an apartment building. We were distributing Gitas and everything. And there was one sign on the door that read, every third salesman gets shot, the second one just left. So yeah, that's not very inviting or welcoming. Swagatam means welcome in Sanskrit or Hindi. It means come on, have a good day, we relax, you know. Have a laid-back program here. Relax. And so this is the mentality. This is the spirit, the mood of service, as opposed to me being served. My demands are the most important thing in the world. But if we see that we're part of a universal family, you take care of the universal family, and because you're one of the members of the universal family, you get satisfied. Because this is the idea. Unfortunately, we have to turn people away these days, which is not kind of nice, but we tell them in a nice way, and you know, please come back when we do open our doors. So it's all about etiquette, it's all about protocol, it's all about being just kind of pleasant and being nice. One of Prabhupada's greatest words was nice. Prabhupada liked rice, and he liked the word nice. Basically, that's it. And to be nice means to be like a Vaishnava, you know, and this was demonstrated by Vasudeva as well as Nanda. They had great, profound respect for each other. They actually did. And as they, like I said, they shared the same kind of service as being the father to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is a unique position. You know, not everybody gets to be that. And if you're not a parent or a father now, you will be. I remember traveling with somebody who was walking with me, and he was on the cell phone, and he was on I was asking, who are you talking to? And I said, I'm talking to my mother. So, and he was not very nice. You know, after he finished the conversation, I basically was saying to him that, you know, you shouldn't talk to your mom like that. I mean, you know, she's done so much for you. I mean, one day you're going to be a dad, you'll be a parent. You want your kids to talk to you like that? No. So he kind of took it in quite well. And he was a member of the Afro-American community. And I mean, not being nice to parents is not exclusive to just one group of people. People do it all the time. I remember doing Sankirtan. I was in a place called Delhi, which is in southern Ontario, coming what was tobacco country. Have you ever heard of that place? Delhi, probably named after Delhi. And you know, I was I entered into a restaurant for just some water or something. I can't remember. And the girl, the restaurateur, I guess you call it, she was on the phone with her mother. And she was talking like real snappy at her. And then she hung up the phone. Well, I don't even know why you gave me birth. You know, I mean, this was not behind her back, but in one way behind her back, you know, after they hung up on the phone. I was so shattered by that kind of, you know, how can anybody be like that? And there was another time when we were selling, we were going around to support the temple, we were selling paintings. And we were going to people's homes. And I remember rolling out the canvases. And I went to one household where there's a husband and a wife and their daughter. The daughter was maybe about 8 years old. And they were just putting her down. The parents, like, it was so heart-cracking. How anybody could be like that to their daughter, you know. I can't repeat the words. I don't need to. They're just so crass. And how can you be that to your offspring? Just unbelievable, you know. So even if you don't have a lot of feelings, you know, cultured place is a place where you just, you know, respect, you know, the generation before you and also the generation under you. There has to be respect, and this is a very important principle to adapt to in Krishna consciousness. Yeah, and it's not that we just come to Krishna consciousness, and so I have to just forget my family. I remember going to see my parents, and they all eat meat. They eat meat, and my mood was think nothing of it. They weren't apologetic about it at all. And I would, after having grown fond of animals and hearing about God as a cowherd person looking after calves, I'm not going to be so judgmental. I just, in the beginning I was not so nice to my parents. I was more or less cursing them, saying, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, blah, 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 blah. I was so arrogant. It was absolute, and I felt so bad about that after. On subsequent visits, I was just kind of nice, I was pleasant. And I thought that if anyone is going to respect Krishna consciousness, then they will do it through your behavior. They'll observe how you treat them, and it doesn't come about by being belligerent to people that you will win their honor. So that's the way it went. I stopped preaching to them after my first visit, and I'm your son, and then everything was cool, and then they started to respect what I was doing. In fact, after I joined the movement, my parents bought this big Bible. We're Catholics. Catholics don't always have a Bible. They have their own liturgy. So they put it on the coffee table, and it was just kind of like a statement. I was coming to visit. You believe in that, Krishna, we believe in Christ. Okay, fine. But then after a while they chilled, and when we got a TV show on Vision Television Network, it was a regular show, it ran weekly for some time. And according to the producers, it's the longest running Hindu show in the world. We ran it for a while, for a few years.
I used to take you.
You used to drive me there, yeah. Yeah, up to Newmarket.
Newmarket.
Yeah. And what was I about to say in regards to that? That escapes me right now. But we were doing the show, and it'll come to me. Hare Krishna. So, Nanda and Vasudeva, two great personalities in our lineage and our tradition that we adore for their taking the role of serving God. Prabhupada actually explains that this rasa is superior to even servitude. Because if you play the role of a parent, then you're always serving, constantly the child, the offspring. Because the child is needing mommy, daddy, they've become dependent. And so you become dependent on their dependency. You are taking care of them all the time. That's a better position than playing the role as the Son of God, where God is the parent. Because then you are making all the demands. I'm a good son. I need this. I need that. I need the latest device. I need name brand running, shoes, etc. So when you are the child of God, then you make so many demands. But when you're the parent of God, then God makes the demands. So in one sense, it's a better position to be in. You have to be totally on your toes. And anyone who has done some parenting, you know that there is a lot of work to be done. A lot of attention has to be given. Yeah, so nice. And even the way he's addressing him, they're not brothers biologically, but he's saying brother. So when people say bro, which is very common these days, it means that, hey, we're members of some kind of a family. We get together where we act as a team. We play a sport together, the sport of life, going and growing, and so on like that. So, brataha, as you may have known, picked up on that, the last few days that word has been set in some of these verses. Brother, he keeps addressing him as brother, even though they're not. Nice thing about Indian culture is that everybody's, even if you're not related, they say, like in some parts, they say kaka, which means uncle. Uncle. So, is that your uncle? Well, not really, but he's like my uncle. So in this way, they have family, extended family. It's one way to define family, is the people that may not be blood related, but they're nevertheless related culturally in terms of helping each other and doing things for each other. That's how you get close to people, so you do things for each other. And I believe that Srila Prabhupada wanted us to go to India to see how some things are done. You go to India so that you can not only go to temples and hear, illuminating and inspiring classes from devotees, but also to see some things, how culturally things are executed. And the time when Prabhupada came to America, people had lost a grip on family values. And in fact, people used to, at that time, it was the generation that watched the Adams family values, and at least they stayed together. But things got a bit out of control. It was around 65, just practically right around the time Prabhupada came. He came, the timing was just right, okay? And of course those kind of things are happening now in India. A break of units, a break of family, community, and so on like that. That's definitely becoming a very strong reality all over the world. People have been leaving their farms. They calculate that so many thousands of people leave the farm every day. Where? Here, America, Russia, India, every day. Thousands of people leave the farms to go to the place of the bright lights, to the city. It's not really a good sign. Some census was done, I think in the 40s. The high percentage of the population in Canada were living in small towns and farms. Now, of course, it's switched around. A very small percentage live out in rural areas, where you're healthier, where you're closer to the land and the animals and so on like that. People have lost touch with the land and the animals. Well, okay, have a little dog, okay, that's about the best you're going to get. So Prabhupada was quite critical of the skyscrapers, he called them. We all call them high rises. And he said, it's meant for sense gratification, they're meant for illicit sex life. Now, one problem with, being way up in a skyscraper, living in a condo way up there, is that you're not touching the ground. And to have some sense of peace, you should touch the ground. I mean, yesterday I went to Christie Pitts with Aishwarya, and we met with a fellow there. He's kind of a free spirit, Vishal, whom we met last week. And he was sitting at what's called, they call the center at Christie Pitts. And he said, meet me there on the phone, he said. So we found him easy enough. He was sitting on the grass. And we also sat on the grass. And this was all before, we could see clouds rolling in and looked very ominous, dark, almost the color of Krishna. Winds were coming in, and it was kind of a real nice feel, actually. It was quite humbling. I like it better than that hot, steamy stuff that comes around. But anyways, you feel very satisfied just touching the ground. And this is what people are not doing because of the fact that they're in a car, they're on the 4 wheels, or they're in a condo, they're off the ground by so many feet. I remember it was very funny. I took a train to Montreal, and the conductor was doing the announcements. He said, okay, we are going so many miles, we're on our way to Montreal, and we are now 3 feet in the air. Like when you're in a plane, they talk about 14,000 feet, altitude. He says, it's 3 feet altitude. I just thought it was really funny. But at least with a train, you're a little bit close to the ground. So the ground, the earth, the water, the air needs to be felt, a little bit of fire here and there. Elements must be met. Elements must be met. And then it's easier to come close to God. But if we're always in, as they say, an ivory tower, way up there, and it's made of ivory, which is another sinful thing to do, is to take, ivory and make something out of it, usually meant, what do they call it? When they, what do they call it? It starts with a P.
Poaching.
Yeah, poaching. When they do poaching, so much poaching is going on for elephants and their tusks, killing the whole big, beautiful animal just for some tusks, just for some ivory. It's bad. If an elephant dies naturally, that's another thing. But try to catch the tusks. Soon as an elephant's down, vultures are coming, you've got the hyenas after, everything's coming at you, And there are elephant sort of known sites where they do pass their bodies, but it doesn't take long. Maybe after 2 or 3 days, all the flesh has been pecked at, it's all gone. Only it's a skeleton, so if you want, you can get the tusks then, if there are tusks. Okay, so we're really just talking about real life, real relationships. One of the reasons why there is so much depression is that there's lack of camaraderie, lack of warmth amongst people. We have alienated ourselves from each other. And really, ultimately, it's our choice. And some of the big guns out there, they really don't want religions to succeed. One beautiful thing about spiritual people coming together is that they get together and they like each other on common grounds. In some traditions, they don't like the other group, but this is not very progressive. What's really progressive is that you like your group and you like the next community next door. Try to see everybody as one. And also note some of the differences at the same time. That philosophy is called Achincha Beda Beda Tattva, simultaneous oneness but difference. So we can learn a lot from the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. It's very much about intimate relations with Krishna. Krishna is the center point, and he is the talk of the town, always the talk of the town. In spiritual circumstances, has to be God who's the talk of the town. Or your kata is involved in, it's embodying service to Krishna. So we either talk about service to Krishna, or we talk about Krishna directly. Or we say encouraging things to each other. Has to be done, has to be done. It's important that we can actually increase our communication with each other by complimenting each other. And everyone's got something that's worthy of being complimented. Prabhu, I love how you did this. Prata, we got a new word here. Prata, instead of saying bro, or Prabhu, we can say this. Brother, I like how you do this, I like how you do that. It's so encouraging, it's what we need. So important. And if we don't do that, then we're talking about the reverse, the opposite. It means no acknowledgement. It means ignoring or rejecting. So we must acknowledge, Hare Krishna. What time are we on right now?
8:19.
8:19. So I think it's...
Excuse me, 8:60.
Okay. All right. Good. So at this point, if anybody has any questions at all or comments they want to make, yes.